welcome to Fake Deep Thinking, just a group of guys talking about a bunch of bullshit. Today we have with us John, Doc,
Yo.
and myself, Eugene. All right, guys, so today we're going to jump into something that's kind of sad, is this officer, sheriff, who committed suicide to bring awareness to some racism in his precinct, correct?
Correct.
And I'm kind of torn about this because mainly this article, I'm just going to jump to it. It's this one sentence that bothered me right here. I'm just going to read this and then I'll jump up to the front, to the top, and then we'll start there.
Go for it.
So Sheriff Mark Garber reportedly released a statement on behalf of the... No, that's not it. It was up a little bit more. Right here. Kerr also hinted at his suicide, calling it his protest against police brutality and saying he felt like dramatic and bold action needed to be taken, according to the advocate. I just don't see how suicide was the answer to bold and dramatic action.
I completely agree. I saw a comment on one of his posts, and it was like, your voice was needed much. If you're the witness to this stuff going on, your voice was needed much more than a metaphoric action or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like some symbolic act.
I completely agree. Yeah.
He could have just.
This actually brings a point that I'll tie into later, but first it's a pretty short article, so let me run through it real quick. So, a black police officer in Louisiana reportedly filmed himself speaking out about police brutality and racism before dying by suicide on Monday. Clyde Kerr III, a 43-year-old father and military veteran who served in Afghanistan and Iraq, died by suicide outside of the Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Office, where he worked as a sheriff's deputy, according to the Acadian Advocate. Kerr reportedly posted a series of videos in which he detailed his experiences in the military and as a police officer and spoke extensively about racism, police brutality, and mental health. In a video created the day before he died, Kerr spoke critically about the police, advocated for more mental health resources for officers, and touched on the recent protests against police brutality and systemic racism in the United States. Quote, "I've had enough of serving the system that does not give a damn about me or people like me. Y'all don't really give a damn about us. That is the truth. I've served with all my heart, with a full heart in the military. After that, got back into law enforcement. And you have no idea how hard it is to put a uniform on in this day and age with everything that's going on," unquote, Kerr said. Quote, "My entire life has been in the service of other people. Y'all entrust me to safeguard your little ones, your small ones, the thing that most precious to you, and I did that well. I passed security clearance in the military, but that has allowed me to see the inner workings of things. And this is a demonic system, and it's not anything I can continue to serve and want to be part of. This is not right. This is no form of justice," unquote. And one more paragraph. Kerr pointed to the black people who have been killed by the police, including Botham Jean, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Trayford Perlin. Is that how you say Pellerin?
Mm-hmm.
I quote, "I can't abide by this no more. I'm not having anything to do with this nonsense no more," unquote, Kerr said. If this feels right, Kerr, I keep saying you're right, sorry. "If this feels right to you as a person, then something is wrong with you. This is the furthest thing from right," unquote. And then the paragraph I had written. Suicide, yeah.
So, I think there's an interesting dynamic, first off, into like what it feels like to be a black guy in the police, I guess.
That will be a very interesting
That's
dynamic.
an interesting, you know what I'm saying? Just based off of this, that's the first thing that popped into my mind. By no means, I don't think, like, not to denigrate the dead, I don't believe suicide was the best option.
I don't either.
He had been apparently posting videos for a while and asking for changes or whatever, but there's just no way, like, if we're focusing on the point that we're discussing in this is because of the suicide, then there's just, it's already taken away from the point.
Well, one could make the argument that his bold and dramatic action, which was suicide, is bringing, like we're talking about, I don't know if more people are talking about this or not.
Yeah, but do we move on from the suicide?
Because I'm not gonna lie. What's beating me up is not necessarily the issue. It's more the fact that he committed suicide, man. Like, oh, that's tough.
In front of the precinct, apparently.
So I got a conspiracy theory I want to run by y'all. Because I when I read that, I have nothing to really that pushes back against this conspiracy theory. But what if he didn't commit suicide? What if he was killed? Like, is there more reporting on his actual suicide? What if the precinct made it look like a suicide? They say in the thing he hinted at a suicide, but that was a weak hint.
You know what's crazy? They did this one, so if this is a real conspiracy,
I mean, Epstein didn't kill himself.
They did it so smooth, it didn't cross my mind this time. That's wild. So when you said it, it immediately made sense because it is
It's-
kind of vague.
And this last one right here is what gets me. The life, and I don't want to accuse. This
Yeah,
is all
obviously.
hypothetical. We're just going conspiracy theory right now. It's blah blah
Yeah.
blah. But it's just
But
right
this
here.
would be a good segue
Right?
into the other topic, which would
Mm.
make this one a little bit more believable.
Right? We'll get to that after this. So the Lafayette, am I saying that right? Lafayette?
Lafayette.
The Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Office is heartbroken to confirm the loss of a member of our LPSO family who took his own life this morning. My heart goes out to his immediate family and to all of the brothers and sisters he has at the Sheriff's Office. We will do everything in our power to support our employees as well as grieve. And I'm just like, but what about the issue he was addressing?
That to me is weird that they didn't address that.
That's why I have that conspiracy theory. It's like he was
'Cause
for-
even
from
addressing
your
it would've
point,
made it go away.
For a while, was apparently making videos about it, and he commits from his dramatic and bold action committed suicide to get it out there, and you don't even address it. This is just I'm not sure if this is the full quote or not. We could, not under like we could
be
the
out of
actual
context.
statement. It could be out of context. Thank you. But it's just, man, I don't know.
It's complicated though, man. Like, it's literally the most contentious topic in the country, and you want a police department to comment on it. Like, dude, there's so much PR that needs to go in before they say anything like that. This
Fair.
phrase
That's a
was
good point.
hand
You don't-
cherry picked
It's a
in
good-
words and stuff like that. Like,
You can say that though, but PR is known to. The job isn't to completely not speak on the topic.
I was about
So
to say-
a good PR firm would have been like,
Yeah, in 2021 especially.
a good PR firm would have been like, and as regarding to the claims of Mr.
Yeah.
Kerr, we're looking into him.
at
and
least that.
We're looking into him, and results on the investigation will be released as blah 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 blah, or
As we
just
progress in this investigation, blah
progression.
blah. Yeah.
well,
blah.
I mean, this is also the only source that we're looking at, so maybe
That's a
they,
good point.
they did do that. And
Yeah.
there's like, I'm sure they would have released a statement like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Um,
So it's possible we didn't get the full.
The other thing that kind of makes me question the situation is not the fact that it's not his message. It's like being a cop's hard to an extent for anybody. So I kind of also would like to know like this person's psychology, man. Like,
Oh yeah, I think he
I-
probably fucked up from his tours.
I agree too.
Yeah,
I
like,
would be curious.
he's
'Cause he had
probably-
2 kids. He has 2 boys,
was young.
man.
43.
43. That is young.
yeah, like he was
14
probably,
years away from that personally, dude. Like, come on now.
Well, if he was already mentally unstable and like on the verge of like a sheer depression, and then this hit, like this, like, crisis, and it just completely destabilized everything that he held dear, then he went for the trigger, and so you have to take that into account too.
He was a resource officer at an elementary school and a middle school, dude. Like, this
Yeah,
breaks
they
my
said he
heart,
always give
dude.
kids hand daps and all that stuff. Like, I mean,
He
he's
just loved
described
being
as
an
a
officer.
he's described as a good guy. So it's just
I don't
it's
know,
just funny.
I just don't like suicide, bro. That shit touches me a different way, man. I don't know.
Completely agree. But speaking of to the theory that he might not have
The
killed
conspiracy theory.
himself. So there was a guy by the name of, I believe it's Michael Fesser. Can you pull up the just the notepad? You can type his name in.
Okay,
I'm
gotcha.
not sure.
And I'll pull up the notepad real quick first. There
Okay,
we go.
but
Dude,
Michael Fesser.
he has kids though, man. That
2
just
kids.
spins
Yes,
the wheel for
dude.
me on this. 'Cause it's like,
Exactly.
at that point, like, man, I don't want to. In my mind, he abandoned those kids,
Yep.
I'm not gonna disagree with that. I actually agree with that.
and it's like, yes,
To an
you
extent,
were
dude,
the
to an
martyr, and you were
extent.
martyring yourself or something, but you abandoned your children.
Yeah, and that's where you have to question the mental health because he had kids. It didn't make sense.
Because Mike, I guess
Yeah.
to dive deep into this, and I don't want to disparage this man too much, but like, aren't your kids your anchors? Like, so I guess to expose myself a little bit. So, one of the things I guess if I had to dive into it that would prevent me from suicide is the fact that I have anchors in my mind, my spirit, whatever you want to go call it. And it's my family, my immediate friends, and then like some other anchors. That's why if ever I lose those anchors, then not to be dramatic, but watch out for me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I question, like, you had 2 kids, aren't they your anchors? I could not imagine doing that to my kids.
Yeah, especially if you know that this is the world you live in, you got to double down on taking care of them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so, for him,
But he wasn't in the military.
like the
so.
martyrizing, it's difficult, man. Like, it's difficult for me to understand him making that decision for himself. But
Yeah, what's the term or whatever it's called? Visions of grandeur or something like that?
yeah,
Let's
It's
get
just
off.
like,
Yeah,
damn.
let's move from this. This
Yeah,
is too
it's like
heavy.
it's
So-
heavy. Like
Yeah, this is too heavy. Let's move. Let's get to
Speaking
this.
of police, so
yeah.
there's this guy named Michael Fesser. He's in West Lynn, and he basically is experiencing some discriminatory acts in the workplace. And I don't know if he brought it to anybody's attention or whatnot, but the owner of the tow company where he worked, fearing a lawsuit, talked to his fishing buddy who was a sheriff in another town, and that sheriff got his police officers to investigate Michael Fesser
About apparently stolen money right
For
here.
stolen
Thousands
money.
of dollars of stolen cash.
stolen cash out of district, and they eventually arrest this man for it.
Two lawsuits Fesser filed allege his boss pressured West Lynn police to harass him with a groundless arrest. According to the lawsuits, which the police department and the employer settled for $1.15 million total, Fesser's boss, who is white, feared his employee would sue him for a racial discrimination. A police investigation would discredit Fesser and possibly thwart his bias suit. The boss, Eric Benson, hatched the plan with his fishing buddy. So hold on, time out.
Yep.
This man was worried about a discrimination lawsuit.
Yep. So he
Pretty much
discriminated.
worried about being racist and being
This
caught
is-
being
but,
racist.
But look, I want you
And
to
he
wait,
did
Gene. I want you to say what you're gonna say really slowly because I don't think you understand the levity of what you're actually about to say. Please go on.
I'll just shorten it now, and it's pretty much the same thing. So, he was feared of being racist, so he did a racist thing.
Yeah, but what racist thing did he do?
Frame this black man.
Yeah, but why? What does that sentence say? Hatch the plan with his. Hold on, go up.
No, I think
Go
I'm
up
talking about the top one right here.
at the end.
Or is it?
No. Where it says that he was hoping that boom, a police investigation would discredit Fesser.
There you go. Yep.
That's the most important line.
That is the most important line. And possibly thwart his bias suit.
Okay, so now this is my question, right? Now when somebody wait. Now when somebody gets killed by the police, and then when they say, "Oh, this person had this on their record," and we immediately cast judgment, not even murdered. I don't care what the color of the person is. Somebody says something's happened to them from the police, and you look at their past or their record. Michael Fesser could have been one of those guys. He got arrested for it. He had to beat the case. So he had that on his record for a while. Now that's just on his record. So now that could have fucked his whole life up. Every interaction, every job he went to get, every single thing he tried to do, whether it be get a credit card, where they look into his credit history, they look into his criminal past. That's a felony for what? Cash? You think we're gonna give you a credit card?
I really hope this guy got fired. He needs worse than fired, but at the very least, that he should not hold up that position anymore. What was his name? Eric?
Michael Fesser,
No.
the owner.
The boss, Eric Benson.
It's just wild to me.
This
Something could
freaking
so
guy.
easily be put on somebody's record because of a fishing buddy. Because we go
I know
fishing
that's
together.
what's killing me right here with his fishing buddy. What bothers me too.
out of
Where is it?
jurisdiction.
Where is it? I think it's at the end. Where how much he got? Only 600,000.
Mm-hmm. Law firm took half of it.
Under the settlements, Benson paid his former employee $415,000. The city of West Lynn last week agreed to pay him $600,000 in one of the largest settlements for wrongful arrest in Oregon's history. But it's so blatant.
Although the West Lynn Police Department did not
not
admit liability in last week's settlement with Fesser, which was first reported by the Oregonian, the agency said in a statement that it does not tolerate discrimination or disparate treatment of by its employees. The officers named in the suit did not return a request for comment through their attorney.
Man,
So
This is
now
bad.
now
is
we're really looking
bad.
at now we're
This
and this is my
bad.
thing. So when we're talking about police, right? And I'm not even just talking about major city police. You could throw that shit out. You know, obviously there needs to be shit done. My actual problem has always been with small town police. The space they have to navigate is scary. Out of jurisdiction because he's your fishing buddy and you actually were able to put him in jail?
they have text messages, dude. He is playing the race card big time, Benson texted Reeves. He'll sue the shit out of me. Reeves wrote back, I have a solid case. Text again. It's better we arrest him before he makes the complaint. Then it can be retaliation.
Then it can't be.
Wow, dude.
Dude, that's wild. This reminds me of Life. You guys ever watch that movie?
Yeah, with Martin and
Eddie Murphy.
Yeah,
And Eddie Murphy
it's
kills
sad.
The dude for his dad's watch.
But it's sad because they
Yeah.
don't make it out till they're old. They spent their whole life in jail, and it's just wild, dude. Something so easily like that. Man, I told y'all, I got arrested in Tennessee. It was nigger written all over them jails, bro. Like literally carved into the wall. Nigger. My cuffs got stuck on me, and a meth head had to break, like he had to break the cuffs off. They were serving us egg sandwiches, and on Friday you got tomatoes. And you know what I got arrested for? Rolling papers. But who's there to say you can get that from the gas station that I just got it from up the street? I literally got arrested for paraphernalia.
But papers are classified as paraphernalia?
Yep.
Yeah. If you're underage, you can.
But you're one underage.
Nope. I was 20-something.
Also, they can tie it in. I think they can up the charge. I'm not too sure. But if you have like weed on you and then you have rolling papers, then they'll charge you with drugs and paraphernalia.
Did not have marijuana on me.
What's going on,
But
bro?
the thing is that there's so much gray area because it's just like, who checks that? Who checks that? There's nobody there for that type of thing to be checked. It's under the local. That's why, like, in towns, I always tell friends, at least my black homies, I'm like, hey, bro, if you're in a town during political season and the biggest office you see advertised on people's yards is sheriff, get the fuck out of that town.
Seems like this area might be just a racist area, maybe, or this guy was just.
No, the guy's in a really racist area. He said he's forgiven everybody and all that shit and moved on from it. But it's just wild,
Yeah, it's pretty much saying right here. This
bro.
area has just been.
If the biggest position is sheriff in the town, get the fuck out of there. Sheriff's kid at fucking Twilight Town. Sheriff's kid, quarterback of the goddamn high school.
Serving bacon to Muslims.
Yeah, I saw that
What
right
the
here.
Fuck, dude. That is rowdy.
That is rowdy.
That's like pissing in
The
a
department
communion
later
cup.
paid the former officer $100,000 because his colleagues ignored the post and failed to discipline him until the racist remarks were reported in the local news.
Keep in mind, this is still all out of jurisdiction.
Yeah, for
This
those of
whole
you that don't
department
know,
needs to be
The
addressed.
whole serving the bacon to Muslims thing is because we're reading further in the article, and it specifically says that they're known for shooting black activists, running over protesters, and serving bacon to Muslims.
No. It says right here.
Oh, this is in Facebook posts.
Yeah,
Facebook
Facebook
posts.
posts.
They don't actually do this. Okay.
It's a keyboard.
Still,
Yeah,
it's fucked.
no. That'd have been worse. I'm pretty sure this guy, if he's still a police officer after doing
No,
stuff
there's
like
the
that.
Wild West out there.
Yeah, I'm about to say, stay away from that area completely.
it's
I wouldn't
just-
go anywhere near
it's
that
just-
state because of this area.
It brings scary shit to mind, dog. I'm just saying it brings scary shit to mind when it's like, I don't care what position of power it is. I'm not just talking about police either. When there's spaces in such an advanced country where a large, like, there's just there's more gray spots in America than there is like actual, like the main cities, that's different. Atlanta, that's different. In the country, you can get found rolled up in a gym mat with your organs missing.
Bro, the country's huge, bro. You can disappear.
You remember that? The black kid, organs missing, rolled up in a gym mat, said he went looking for his shoe. He died looking for his shoe. Organs missing from the body. That can happen in the country.
Hmm.
The guy
You
who
ever
does
hear
the
about those,
autopsy probably went to high school in that city. Those
You ever
small
hear about
towns.
the trailer driver, the truck drivers that are like serial killers. There's like one legend of like this one guy who was a serial killer as a truck driver, and what he would do is he would do what you just described, where they would wrap up the like body in like a mat or something like that, and then he would drag it underneath the truck, and so it would disintegrate by the time he got to like the next stop.
What?
He would just go around the country doing stuff like that.
That's crazy. Dude, this story is wild. I ain't gonna lie to you.
No, it's. I've been reading this the whole time, dude. This thing's wild.
And then the guy's like damn near Jesus. I'm not gonna lie to you. He is not. I mean, $600K. Maybe that made him a lot nicer.
I'm not gonna lie. If this was the other guy, I should have think there's no way he committed suicide. These guys had it out for him. They like.
Then when you can see how the police they have such space to operate.
I'm not trying to accuse, just me being conspiratorial.
I'm just saying. They have space to operate. They're the ones who told us how he died. They're the ones who told us what letters was left. They're the ones who told us.
Man. Oh my gosh.
What?
He went there. I would
Wow.
make sure he never
What?
got out and make sure he was with some real racist boys. What?
He got caught saying the N-word.
Bro.
All right, let's move on past this.
This guy's crazy. Yeah, he's too wild.
This has been some.
Oh, no,
heavy
no, no, no.
stuff.
We're not going to move on from this because of this next line.
Where
Benson testified that he believed Fesser had gang ties. I hope he gets a lot of time. Scroll up, please. Scroll up
I
to
hope
Fesser.
he texts. I hope he gets a lot of time. Please. Wow.
Scroll up, please. All the way to Michael Fesser's face. All the way to the top.
All the way to the top. You want to see his face?
This guy had gang ties. You talking about grown little Bill.
Even that face is like the face that's his reaction to hearing that.
The
picture.
video, if you see the top half of his body, he looks like he wears those sandals that show the sides of your toes and stuff. It's like a whole bunch of looks like a basket that they wear with the heels out where they barbecue.
He actually does look like a nice guy. I'm not gonna lie to you. This smile.
Nah, bro, you never know, man.
Gang,
You're right.
gang.
You really never know. You really never know. He could be hard. I don't even know it.
He hired a gang.
I'm not gonna
member.
lie. Wait, if you go back to the bottom left, if you go to the picture, it's funny because the white dude is the one that looks like he's got the gang ties right here.
Yup.
Yeah, that
Italian
guy
mob.
looks like he's got gang ties, bro.
Italian mob.
Italian straight up.
Yeah.
Garbage. Fucking garbage.
Oh, dude, that's so messed up.
Get
man.
out of here. I can't do voices at all.
My guy look like Gary Payton.
All right. Well, since we're going down this conspiracy a little bit, let's jump into the Britney Spears thing.
Ooh. Okay, so today I got on Twitter. So if you want to go to our Twitter.
Let's get to Twitter.
And I saw Britney Spears trending. I was like, oh, what does bitch do? It's Britney. And then
It's Britney.
that's the only woman you can actually call a bitch and get away with it. And so no, I mean
I don't know why I said it.
just go to trending or the explore page or whatever. Yeah, boom.
No, it's going to Britney Spears.
Top.
I
So then boom.
secretly typed it's Britney, bitch. Like I actually typed that out.
So
I'm surprised John didn't say anything.
nah, I didn't want to goddamn not. You don't gotta go to the page. Go to
Damn, she uses
Go to
her
the
like
tweets.
20-year-old photo.
go to her tweets. Not her tweets, go to back to your search. Yeah, scroll.
Oh, okay.
You just want to see the top stuff people posted. So there's a Britney what is it called? Framing Britney Spears documentary, right? And so it actually shows a weird dynamic of how Britney was actually scapegoated for a lot of no, I don't want to say scapegoated, but the idea of Britney. So like Britney represented, I guess, the hypersexual young teen. She was underage and doing all that stuff. So there are actually women who would say like, "Oh, Britney, I wish you would die. You're a horrible role model for our kids," and But it was kind of framed that way from her record label, and like the record label just had more to do with it than we actually knew, as far as image wise, and even the hate that she would receive, turning it into something that was marketable. And so like
This one right here. The leaving Britney alone dude was right all along. History will look kindly upon him. He's all
I'm
like
telling you,
thinking
so
about watching.
everybody's changed their mind about like Britney losing it, and they kind of understand now. And so the documentary is interesting. I haven't got to see all of it.
It's on Hulu.
I would suggest you guys try and watch it. It is on Britney Spears, so
I'm 10 minutes in and I'm already furious. What?
no, it's
You didn't like
pretty
the font of
bad,
the
dude.
intro or what?
Because like because she's a puppet the whole time.
Yeah, she's been completely manipulated by her father. He has like
I've
the
heard that.
inheritance to the entire wealth and stuff like that, and she's locked out of it. And she has to kind of like be a circus animal
Mm-hmm.
continuously, like in Vegas to keep her money. It's like she's working a regular job, but like doing 100
Britney
times the amount
stuff.
of work,
Mhm.
even though she has a wealth. But her dad locked her out of it from a get-go because he signed her up for certain contracts when she was a kid.
And so now everybody's coming at Diane Sawyer. And so I don't know if you want to type in her name. and there's a clip from an interview that she posted, and not posted, but it was yeah, there you go, boom, and where she's reading some mail that yeah, she's reading
Should I click
mail.
this?
Yeah, nah, there's a video.
Oh, it's okay.
Scroll down, you'll see it.
Okay.
There's a she's like, a woman says, "Oh, Brittany, I wish you would die." Da 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 da. And Brittany reacts, she's like, "Oh my God, that's horrible. Why would she say those type of things?" And Diane Sawyer was like,
This is the interview right here.
Diane Sawyer was basically like, because you're not a role, like
Oh,
she
it's not the video. Okay.
she kind of was like agreeing with the lady, like, you know, I can understand why, like, and so a lot of people start looking at a lot of Diane Sawyer's older interviews, like even her one with Whitney Houston. She was like, "You're skinny sick. You're sick skinny. Like
I
this is
remember
not
that.
good. This is and so now Justin Timberlake looked like an asshole in this thing too. I ain't gonna lie, that guy doesn't even look like, he looks like a Puerto Rican in blackface.
But think of the age. Like, I'm like, you can't be too mad
This
at
guy look like a straight Puerto Rican in blackface.
this guy. What is this?
No, this is a Justin Timberlake video.
Oh.
I don't know why. Well, when on my Twitter, it popped up immediately. I guess my Twitter's a little bit messy.
Oh,
I don't know,
so-
man. I think Diane
Yeah.
Sawyer might just be
Boom.
turning into like that old lady that just says it how it is because she doesn't care anymore. But she still has a job.
No,
as
boom.
a
This is the exact clip.
national journalist.
This is the exact clip.
Oh, she said that.
Look,
Hold on, let me read this. Let me back up. Really, if I had the opportunity,
and you know who that is, right?
no, actually I don't.
That was a mayor, or it was a politician that said this.
What?
At the time.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So she said, "This is Kendall and Elric.
Mm-hmm.
Am I saying that right? Elric?
Yeah.
Kendall Elric. Really, if I had
Ehrlich.
Ehrlich,
Yeah.
Ehrlich. Okay. Really, if I had an opportunity to shoot Britney Spears, I think I would." Oh, wow.
Then watch this next part of the
That is horrible. That is bad.
Wait, you're saying Diane Sawyer agreed with that?
Yes.
What? I can't hear the video, so I can't hear.
She
her
said-
Yeah, I was about to
oh,
say, where's the agreement?
I mean,
I
if
didn't
you
hear
watch
it
the
either,
whole video,
honestly.
but I mean,
no, that was the whole video, unless
I mean, I'm talking
I
about the
understand
whole
what you're saying, the
interview, but
interview.
no,
Okay, okay, my
literally,
bad, my bad.
she reads the quote and she says, the lady said, "If I had the opportunity to shoot Britney Spears," and Britney Spears' reaction is like, "That's horrible."
yeah.
And she said, "You have to understand, you're not a good role model. It's tough being a parent." Da 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 da. And she rifled off
That's what she
reasons
said in the
for this
beginning.
lady.
I just heard it's tough being a parent. I was like, but that's not
That's not the
that's-
point.
that's not
Why
the
are you
point right
saying
now.
that?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
exactly.
Anything other than you're right or this is like, what else is there? This is not a thing to explain when somebody says, "If I could shoot somebody, I would shoot them."
Mm-hmm.
I also don't think that like Britney's gone like any deeper as far as like contentious pop star. Like I feel like Madonna surpassed her 10 years before that.
Madonna forcing people
There was
to
an
kiss
Oprah
her.
interview.
Yeah, fuck Oprah.
Oh,
And
that's
fuck Gayle
right.
King.
They did kiss.
Madonna forces a lot of people to kiss. She made Drake kiss her. Boy, that lady out there. If we trying to talk about female Weinsteins, I'm sure she got some bodies under her belt. Yeah, you want to be one of my background dancers?
I'm curious why Justin Timberlake is an asshole, depending on what happened. Because
I ain't gonna lie.
Because at that
I
age, because
love
they were in their
Justin
20s, what were they,
Timberlake.
mid-20s?
Yeah,
I expected him to deal with, like, 'cause that's an intense dynamic that she had then with her father.
The
Like, that's tough.
The dynamic that's intense is my love for Justin Timberlake's music. That motherfucker. Oh my God. So it pains me. It pains me to admit that I haven't seen enough of it
Damn, am I going to have to watch this?
That's what I'm trying to. That's the problem, Gene. I haven't seen enough of it to talk badly about him, but I'll say this. He pulled out Janet's titty during the Super Bowl, correct?
Okay. I remember watching it.
Janet Jackson received a ban.
Not him. Yep.
He performed at the most recent Super Bowl, maybe 2-3 years ago.
Yep. And everyone was like, Janet Jackson should have been there.
He could have
Brought her.
or leveraged it.
Okay.
He himself has never even really come out, and she till today is banned for her titty getting pulled out by Justin Timberlake. And so I'm not saying it's enough, But I'm saying there's something there where maybe at a younger age, young Justin might have been on that fuck shit because, hey, old Justin was like, I'm popping titties out and dodging responsibility.
This guy.
But I'm just saying, like, he pulled her titty out and she got banned. Do you know if that happened this year, how differently we would have received that moment?
Mm-hmm.
Justin might be in jail. If
But
she
was
said,
he invited? Like
what?
when
Yeah.
he performed the second time, was he invited, or did like his people reach out to the Super Bowl to be like, "Hey, I
Super
wanna
Bowl, the
perform
people
again?"
reached out to him because he had that song for the Trolls.
I honestly
Mm.
have no idea.
Yeah, I
that
don't know either.
Troll song.
I
It was
also don't know.
It was some
like-
song he wrote for the Trolls movie, and their song went #1.
Mm.
And so, like, they wanted him to perform that song and have trolls running around.
Maybe
and
that's why
dancing.
they reached out to him. And
Yeah,
not
but he
Janet, 'cause
performed
she has
all
nothing to
his
do with
Timberland
stuff.
Timberland hits.
Yep.
All his old shit. He came out there in Air Force. I mean, in Jordan 3s. No, Janet. She's still banned. Her titty probably don't even sit the same no more.
Why? What the heck?
I don't think it was like deliberate though. Like there wasn't somebody at the Super Bowl who was like, "We're just gonna get Justin back. We're not gonna get Janet." Yeah, that'll
No,
show.
no.
I
That's
hate
not
women.
it.
Like I don't think that's what happened.
Yeah,
I think
but
it was just
you
he was
can't-
popular at the time.
Okay, but you can't disconnect the thought of it. Like, he pulled her titty out. So it's just like, it's not even like, oh, we're not going to get Janet, but it's, oh, we're going to get Justin.
It's just the fact that I guess he didn't get any repercussions.
It's not even
Yeah,
that.
no,
G. It's
I
not
do
even
agree.
that.
I get it. I get
No,
it. I
it's
just
not
think
even
that like from
repercussions.
their perspective, it was just a business move. It
Based off
wasn't
what
like
Doc
a-
said, that's ignoring normal thought pattern. Normal thought pattern is, let's get Justin Timberlake. He has the #1 song. When's the last time he performed at the Super Bowl? You don't think that would have been a discussion in any room about a Super Bowl halftime performance? Let's get Justin Timberlake. When's the last time he performed?
There was an incident.
There
last
was an
time.
incident with a titty. Whose titty did it
I-
belong to?
I still think the money talked louder than any of the
Yeah,
social repercussions.
And,
I agree.
So
and
that's
now,
why I went
what do
for
you
it.
think would have happened if they
Yeah.
brought Janet out monetarily?
I mean, they would have skyrocketed if they would have brought
Okay,
it back.
then.
Honestly,
So still makes
somebody
no
there
sense.
who knew how to garner clout should have been like, "Yo,
If
let's
not
just bring
more
it
money,
all
honestly, I
back."
feel like.
That would have people would have went crazy. And guess
Yeah.
what? They should have ended it the same way.
Would that have made money though if they like?
Dude, people would have lost their mind. People would have lost their mind if Justin Timberlake brought first off, he's invited to all the barbecues and cookouts after that, as the black people would like to say, the colored folk.
Bro, you did it again. Oh man, no, that's too much. That's just too much.
No, but yeah. Yeah, so back to Britney though. It's just not impossible. You know? He didn't even address it. They asked him about it. He didn't even address it. I love Justin Timberlake. Y'all don't understand. I really love this man's music. But boy, I know at the
So did you watch
even
this or a
fuck
little
the
bit?
Super Bowl committee.
Like, was it
Doc's
bad?
right.
Oh, you're
Fuck
back
this-
on the Super Bowl.
Fuck no, but listen. Fuck the Super Bowl committee, right? Let's say Doc's right about that, and it was just the money, right? Justin Timberlake didn't have.
You pulled back to
No,
the
but
Super
listen. Justin Timberlake didn't have a responsibility himself to say something.
I thought he did. I don't remember, to be honest with you, but I thought he did.
He didn't even shout that girl out at the Super Bowl.
Here, let me see if I even something.
That's all.
3 years ago, he apparently opened up about it.
Finally, after. And it was obviously just a costume error.
I honestly thought it was part of the show.
I honestly thought it was part of the show too, because I mean,
The
it might be wrong of
titty?
me, but because I mean, it was pierced. It
Yo,
like
beautiful period.
It
it
looked
was right.
yeah,
the
it
piercing
looks-
was meant for
I ain't gonna
show,
lie.
not for
Every
conceal.
guy was like, "Oh, Janet,
That particular
freaky.
piercing, I would
Oh,
argue, was
yes.
not meant for concealment. It was
This-
meant to be seen.
Well, it also had the like sun thing around
The
it,
sun
and so like I
spike
thought it was
thing.
like honestly, I thought it was censored. Like I thought she had put like a pasty on. When it came
I
out, I,
thought
was
it
like,
was
"Oh,
a
this is part of the
pasty, too.
show." Like I
Until
didn't
the-
until afterwards when people like hyper zoomed and
Yeah, they were like,
freaking
"We got some nipple meat."
enhanced it,
Yep.
and they were like, "No, that's
Yep.
real." And I was like, "Oh shit, okay."
So time out. So if it was a pasty, do you think it would have met the same amount of controversy?
I think if there hadn't been a pasty, I would have like as a kid seen it and been like, "Oh, that shouldn't have happened." Like,
It was
oh,
supposed
that's
to reveal a whole nother. I forgot what Justin Timberlake said it was, but it was designed. It was supposed to reveal a whole nother like bustier or whatever on the top. But just that itself, the action alone is risky.
It was
You have
only
to
supposed to.
like it was. He
For
took
what,
two
though?
layers. Let's say there was 2 layers.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm
And
saying, but for what though? I'm trying
just
to
for-
remember the performance to see the point of it though.
There's no point. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just a thing, like just to do, just some choreography for no reason. End it. Like the real thing, honestly, I think was the shock effect. Like, is he about to show us her titties and then not show us her titties? So like, he just ripped something off her chest, but we got you. You know what I'm saying?
And then there wasn't a shock from her either.
But no,
since we're
no,
overanalyzing.
there was a. She's. I mean, obviously she's a performer, so she
It was
did her best.
delayed, but
But she
you're right.
covered her like.
Yeah. Justin's face. Oh my gosh, this picture.
Justin, I don't even think Justin knew. Cause look, he has both of them. See, this has red here.
Yeah. But if you're going off the picture now,
Nipplegate.
this is the back. Look at the back and then look at the front. That's not even like a whole separate piece. That's just sewn on the top of it.
Oh,
At least that's what it looks like to me.
I mean, I can't.
I don't.
It's just
yeah,
small.
yeah.
But anyway, he didn't even address it recently. Like, I mean, in the press conference leading up to the Super Bowl, it wasn't like a thing. And I ain't gonna lie, their Super Bowl performance was fantastic.
Yeah, dude. I don't know, bro. That.
No,
dude, that's like a grip, dude. That's
yeah,
a pool,
dude. Shut
bro.
up. Now that I'm
Bro,
seeing
he-
it, now that I'm
that
seeing
is
this
a
again,
pool.
now
That shit
I'm
was
seeing
aggressive
this
as
again,
fuck.
dude. Yeah, look at his face.
But look, you can tell she was scripted to
Oh.
pretend like, oh my God,
Yeah,
what are you
no.
doing?
I think
But
so. Yeah.
then
Then
she realized,
yeah.
my titty out.
Yeah.
And the piercing's a lot smaller than I remember it.
Dude,
Like, even though
that's bigger than I remembered it.
no, I thought it was the whole titty. I thought the whole thing was gripping her titty. So I was like, okay, cool.
What?
Like first, I don't know why I thought it was like that, but like, it looks like a steering wheel, a ship's steering wheel on her nipple. He ripped
Yeah.
that thing hard.
He's
dog.
straight, dude. Look at that.
He
That's
was
what I'm
horny.
saying. Like that seems.
I don't
kinda
know,
weird.
bro. I don't
I
know,
feel like that was
bro.
part
All
of the
that-
show, man.
all that
And then
dancing
it
they
just
was
went
doing up
bad,
there.
and they were like, we can never say what we were originally trying to do. So we're
Oh,
gonna
he
go
said
with
what they were gonna do. They both admitted what was supposed to happen.
that was supposed to happen.
No, it was not supposed to happen. It was supposed to reveal something else. Like the red was supposed to stay, and she was supposed to still react like that. And everybody's eyes would have thought they saw what they thought they saw, and then they would have seen, oh, it's red. But no, they got the titty.
I don't know because in that, like I said again, in
This
that
is
pic,
acting
you
right
saw
here.
the back of it. Like where's that scene? Like the back of it. It didn't look like it was a we're fake deep thing. We're getting deep into this.
It's Nipplegate,
It's Nipplegate,
and we're here.
Somehow from Brittany we've gotten here.
right? Yeah, can I view this file larger? Look, that does not look like a separate piece. It looks like it's sewn on the back. That's why I'm confused.
It also could have been a costume flaw because she did say it's supposed to rip off. But also, how would you expect him to get a grip that quick on something so thin? You know what I'm saying? Like that was.
well, first
But
off,
also, this would have had to be
he got
rehearsed.
a grip.
But this would also have to be
Yeah,
rehearsed.
that's like.
It's not
Like,
like
if you
that
saw
was his
somebody
first
do
time
that
trying
to a
grab
regular
titty.
girl at a bar or something, there'd be fights or there'd be words, man. I'd just feel like, that was a hard grip, man. Come on.
Yeah, man. I don't know. All right. Let's get out of this hole. Let's go into a different hole. You wanted to talk about, what was it now? LGBTI.
Oh God, you said different hole and then went to LGBTQIA. Oh my God.
Was that not funny?
Well, let's get technical.
Was that wrong? I'm sorry.
Let's get technical.
So what's the I? Because you said the I's now part
Please
of it.
Google it.
Okay.
It's I googled it before we started the podcast. So it's
All right, go for it.
intersex, which
I
I honestly
actually
don't
want to understand
I'm
everything.
not gonna lie, I don't understand.
What's the whole LG?
LGBTQIA plus minus.
Is this okay? Here we go. Yep, right here. Wow. What does LGBTQIA plus stand for? Ooh, that's low key. What does LGBTQIA stand for?
LGBT.
Yeah, it's got a bit of a cadence to it.
What does LGBTQIA stand for?
Okay, I know, okay, boom. I got the beat.
Okay.
You know the song? You cool like that? You down
Okay.
like that?
Go.
You down like that? It has the pianos going. Doom 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 doom
What
doom
does
doom 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 doom
LGBTQI stand for?
doom 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 doom
What
doom
does
doom 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 doom
LGBTQI stand for?
LGBTQIA, yeah, LGBTQIA plus.
What does LGBTQI
Lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, queer, intersectional, and asexual.
plus?
So how
Whatever
does
the hell
We
we
that
had.
was fine. I enjoyed that.
how does queer? 'Cause
Queer should
in all
be.
honesty,
They should
you
put
can
the
sum
queer
up
on top of the letters.
That's what I'm saying. You can sum everything with queer, and that would be.
That's what I thought. That's why
the
when
one
you said,
terminology.
It should be Q LGBTIA.
well, when you first mentioned this before we started, like when you said I and Docs looked it up, it says intersectional. I was like, isn't that part of Q?
So the
I
I
really,
is
I
intersecting.
genuinely don't know.
Q stands for
The-
question. Let's go through it in order.
Yeah.
All right, so what?
Lesbians is L.
Obviously.
We know what those are.
G is gay.
Gay. B
Well,
is
is bi.
well, so since we're obviously going to talk about controversial topic, let me at least have some
I have a
controversial
question.
questions. I guess
Is-
if this is even controversial.
Go.
So, is there a differentiation between gays and lesbian? Like, is gay specifically for the guys? Like, aren't
yeah.
It's just to be specific, I think. Yeah.
Wait, no, I have a quick. See, okay. Is Bruce Jenner a lesbian?
I don't know. Does he still like
Woman.
Um.
Yes.
Well.
or
Did he change
if
from a straight man to a
Caitlyn?
lesbian?
Caitlyn does Caitlyn
Yeah. Then
still
yeah,
like women?
she's a lesbian.
Okay.
Okay,
Wait. Is Bruce Jenner transgender and still sleeping with women?
Yes.
I don't know. Oh,
Then
I
yeah,
don't
lesbian.
know. Okay,
Why-
but if Caitlyn Jenner
But if she ever
was
throws
sleeping
in,
with men,
if she ever throws in a
hetero?
dude in there, then she's now bi.
Yeah, but so
She goes under the B.
But what if she just sleeps
Okay.
with men? Then she's straight.
Then she's under the T.
I mean, she's
She's
under the T
transgender.
regardless, though.
Yeah, but it doesn't go a level down because she's technically straight T. So
We haven't even
No,
finished the
I think-
alphabet yet.
'cause
We
you
got
can
stuck
get more
at
than
G.
one-
Come on, let's
okay,
get through
but
this.
So now, wait. We have to add this though. Keep in mind, you can be more than one letter
Yeah.
because Caitlyn Jenner would be T regardless, but technically she would be an LT. LaDainian Tomlinson.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So G is gay, B is bi, T is trans, Q is for queer, I is intersex, A is asexual, and I have no idea what the plus symbol's for.
I'm gonna look up intersectional real quick. Because I'm not.
no,
trying to
don't,
confuse
you're gonna get a fucking yeah.
you. Okay, so how should I look this up? then?
No,
Intersex.
sex, not sectional, because you're gonna get an intersection.
Sec.
yeah.
I don't. I don't.
What is intersex? That one right there.
Intersex.
First stop,
It's not
bro.
intersexual.
Okay, okay.
First search. There you go.
Thank you, sir. Guide me through this. Intersex is a general term used for a variety of situations in which a person is born with reproductive or sexual anatomy that doesn't fit the boxes of female or male.
Yeah, then these would be hermaphrodites.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's the thing.
See, okay, so yeah, okay. I guess this one just makes sense.
I just. God, is this gonna be wrong of me? I just feel like it's a small group of people who just want a
Representation.
yes,
It's like, hey, what about me? I want a letter on there.
but with
That flag. All the primary colors aren't taken up.
I guess my question and why do we have to call this intersex? Like I mean, now that I read it, I guess it makes sense for them specifically, but why do we have to change everyone else's definition?
No, what-
I'm not saying that they want to change
What do
it,
we?
but
What, I think what was with to this specific intersex one. I would say I'm fine with it because obviously I'm not. It's not my real position too. But hermaphrodite was the only thing I knew them as before. So it's not like I knew them as anything really that I was stuck to. You know what I'm saying? It's not like a
Yeah.
lesbian telling me to not call them lesbians anymore and call them something else. Whereas I feel like when I hear intersex, it's me learning about the actual term or the scientific term for them.
Yeah, this one actually, I agree with that too, John. It's a very natural thing that does happen. It is like less than what, like 0.1% or something like that. Like, because most of the race is either male or female. Yeah, look that up. 1 in 1,000
1,000.
babies
Jesus,
are born
that's scary.
intersex.
I ain't gonna lie, that's a little scary.
That's actually more than I thought it was. I'm not
That's
even
a
gonna lie to
little
you.
scary, boy, because it's millions
Yeah.
and billions.
Billions. Yeah. All right, let's get out of this and go to what was it? A for asexual.
Asexual.
Yeah, asexual. I don't understand how you can do that one.
All right, let me
That
s-
one doesn't
let
make
me
sense.
s-
Oh, I
Humans
read
are
that one.
asexual.
This one's funny.
Yeah. So
A
Yeah,
lack
I
of
said
sexual
that.
attraction to others.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What?
or low
Like-
or abstinent interest in or desire for sexual activity.
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
I
It
think,
sounds.
I don't.
I think
I'm scared to say
asexuality.
anything, bro. I'm not trying to be mean here.
Well, I'm gonna be dead ass on you. Asexuality sounds
'Cause
like
it sounds like they're depressed.
no, but it sounds like a symptom of a rape victim of a not a symptom but a characteristic of a rape victim. Somebody who's hurt, somebody who's like been
Intense
sec-
trauma.
but via sex.
Okay.
So they're desensitized
Detachment?
to they have a detachment to actual.
I don't even know if you have to
sexual
state
act.
this though. Like that's the weird.
That's
thing
what I'm
to me.
saying.
Like,
That's I don't
like
think
you have
this
to
is
identify
a
as this?
community.
Like,
Yeah,
is-
that's what's weird.
like technically, are priests asexual? Like, do they walk around saying I'm
100%,
asexual?
right?
Like,
No, they walk around saying they're pedophiles.
yeah, I know, but technically they
I know,
should
I
be the
know.
ones who first promote
Would
saying
identify as
asexuality.
asexuality because they're all about abstinence. Yeah, I understand what you're
Yeah.
saying.
And so, I mean, I've definitely met
Ruining
people
my
who
damn joke.
kind of treat sex with a sense of bitterness, and they're just like, "No, I'm asexual. Like, I just don't care." And I'm like, "Cool. Like, I don't know if you have to state it and just kind of pull clout towards the situation of it."
Is this their flag right here? Is that supposed to be
I don't know.
or their colors?
It's also really confusing if you go like into a science class and you learn what asexual is, and then you learn
Yeah,
this, and you're
I
just
know.
like, this is completely different.
That's why I
'Cause
heard this. I
we
was
can't
like, this.
reproduce by budding.
No, exactly. That's why I looked it up. Like, what do they mean by asexual? Because how do they reproduce with themselves? Because that's what asexual scientifically means. Like, it's a yeah.
Yeah, like you're just not sexually active. Like that's fine. Like you can choose to live that life, and nobody should stop you.
Could somebody technically say that their newborn child was asexual and withhold picking the gender until?
I mean, if you want to get into semantics, then yes, and that's kind of the thing with this, and I'm like falling victim to it too, where I'm going into the semantics of it. But it's also like it's the same like lesbian and gay. If should we call girls gay? Like even if they like other women, technically they're lesbians. Like you can run around this stuff all day, and
You know what I'm saying? But couldn't you stop yourself from like you could get away with not picking a gender for your kid not you could get away with your kid being genderless.
yeah, but that's also the argument of why people choose to say non-binary, because they don't want to be genderfied. They want to be genderless, which I have issues with to an extent. Like I have no problem with people, having gay relations or even wanting like a husband or a wife, like when they're the same sex. I don't care if they choose to be one gender or the other, and I'm even actually like yeah, intersex actually makes sense because that is a general natural anomaly that happens. The issue is when
Apparently, 1 in 1,000. That's crazy.
yeah, like to me the issue falls when the person decides to jump out of the binary themselves and define themselves as non-binary. Because it's like, you were born one way or the other. If you're gay, like you're gay, like okay, but you were born one way, and if you choose to be the other, that makes sense. But to jump out completely of it is kind of an issue. And this is actually something I've gotten into with myself because with the whole Latinx thing, like I know it's my own race, and they're saying like we're trying to be inclusive with the Latinx, but that's a completely American-made concept. Like other Latin-speaking or Spanish-speaking countries, like they haven't really adopted Latinx yet. That's just something that's coming out of like California and like the new wave of transgenderism in the United States and non-binaryism. It's really confusing though because the entire language is written in binary, and so it's understandable to change the way you speak to somebody who's decided to be one gender or the other, because you're just like, okay, cool, I'm just going to change my vowels because you've now decided to be a woman and I can do that. So I'll just start using the A form. But when you're like, no, I'm non-binary and I want to be addressed as such, and it's just like, you can't do that. Like just because the entire system isn't built for that. And it's weird because it's like Latinx, but because in the United States it's being taught as the inclusive thing to do, which is like a big thing about the US, where everybody wants to be inclusive, it's oddly, in my opinion, offensive to the majority. because the majority of people aren't hermaphroditic. They're one or the other. You know what I mean? And so if you want to empower women, then yeah, use the A form a lot more. Like that's totally fine. It's not trying to be like a patriarch of oppression or anything like that. It has been, and like it's okay to change that. I just think it's really weird when you're deciding to break the system all of a sudden. Like if somebody comes up to me and they're like, "Hey, I know you're Latinx and stuff like that," I'm like, "Dude, like just call me Latino. Like I'm clearly one form of it." Like, and I don't like that it's teaching other races that it's okay to say Latinx to people because they think it's the proper thing to do because they think it's inclusive. When in fact, the most inclusive way is the majority, which is the A and the O form, which is the male and female versions. And so my other issue with it is that there's like a huge hypocrisy in the whole thing because it's like, why are we trying to be more inclusive to a group that's deliberately becoming exclusive? Like,
So, like, I agree with you, but like, my problem with it is it's become like you said, if you want to argue semantics. But my problem is everything has become semantics as far as when it comes to the conversation with the community. So you can't say certain things, and you have to navigate certain ways as to not offend. But the truth lies in some of those offenses.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't technically use them. That's semantics. So it's like, for example, this whole conversation kind of starts with the problem of gender identification. But if we actually called it sex, then scientifically speaking, there shouldn't be an argument because there's only two sexes.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? But gender is, I guess, a classification of the sex. But there's only two sexes.
I guess so. I guess this.
But that is semantics as well. So like the whole thing is the whole conversation is based off semantics, which is my problem. So like don't you don't get to force and put this thing on the majority when we're actually just talking about semantics. We're not talking about as far as equality and all that stuff. That applies to every citizen. You know what I'm saying? So if there's a demographic that feels oppressed to it, yes, we understand. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about representation. We're talking about the way that they maneuver publicly. We're talking about how media portrays the demographic. And because you're not able to actually speak on the negatives of the demographic, you cannot, there's just no, they get to do these things. We get to have those interactions we had at the Magic Store. They get to be more emboldened to do these things, and it's because it's all semantics. Where rather sex is biologically what your body does. Will you, as a woman, do you have the gear to reproduce? Were you made with the gear to reproduce? So now you only have really three options: male, female, and intersex. But
Well,
we
I don't
love
know
the
if
word
intersex
gender.
applies because it's still.
I
that's
mean, because
based
it's still
on the fact that
hermaphroditic.
Can you,
But can you? It's exactly. So you still be
and I don't
under
understand
one.
the nuances of being hermaphrodite. So,
But you're absolutely correct. I don't either. But regardless, so now technically we're speaking. If we're just like, hey, well, what's your gender? Well, I'm a guy. Well, I'm a girl. Well, what's your sex? I'm a guy.
no, there's a scene from
What?
from that one show you watch all the time.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
No. We've done this before. So, can't remember the name again. The drunk father with all the kids living in the house. Shameless. So I'm talking about Shameless. And there's a scene.
Yeah, that boy had the HIV.
I don't know if I can find it, where he is introduced to a new bunch of people, and they actually say a bunch of their identifications, and it was a long scene.
A long
just going through
scene.
each.
And he got up and left.
No,
Did he
sat
stay?
down. No, then he sat down, and then the rest of the scene persists because it was part of the.
If
Part
it
of
was
the show,
real,
yeah.
he would have got up and left. Or you remember the guy at the I forgot what meeting it was, but it was like a liberal meeting or not a liberal meeting, a progressive meeting, and they all kept. He was like, "Can you guys please not clap? We're gonna snap here." And and they spent all day going over pronouns and shit like that. And one guy was like, "Hey, I have to go. Can we actually talk about something?"
and that's kind of the issue with.
But that. Yeah,
It's
going back.
semantics. You get stuck in the semantics.
That's a
it's
weird.
the semantics, and when you start turning things into a spectrum, which is weird though, because like, depending on how logical you are in the situation, like the science says one or the other with a micro chance of variability, which is the 1 out of 1,000 babies being born intersex. But like to take the time to like navigate and cut up, like I am a man, I was born in the body of a man but have the mind of a woman, and then define that, and then like you're just creating the spectrums of it and all that
That's
stuff. It makes it really complex,
It's
and I feel like
manipulative.
it's too complex to the point to where it's like,
It's lawyer talk.
yeah, it makes it difficult to maneuver when you're just like, oh dude, like I can't even just be the way I was and just accept it, and I have to define it, and then I have to like you have to define it, and then you have to tell others how it's defined and stuff like that.
Exactly. It's too much. It's too much. And it's just, and I'm not saying that these people's groups don't exist or these people's, they shouldn't, like, it has nothing to do with that. It actually just has more to do with understanding that it takes time for people to understand. So it's like you don't deserve to be mistreated in any type of way. That's off the table. But as far as the patience you need to exercise with people understanding,
When it comes to interactions, blah blah blah.
that has to
Yeah.
that has to be there, because honestly speaking, you guys don't fully understand, because when you talk to them, it's different. It's differing answers. Like
It's not a consistent.
it's not a consistent answer. And so, like, if you guys don't have a consistent answer and you're telling us it's a spectrum and you actually know what the word spectrum means, people not from that background deserve the patience to understand, as long as they're not being, ignorant or abusive.
I mean, if we were never aware of the spectrum, we become aware. There's gonna be that.
The learning curve.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I get it. I'm not saying that you should take a single letter off of here. I do think some of these letters umbrella each other.
I'm about to say redundant.
Yeah, so, like...
Yeah, I think that's actually part of the thing, too, that eventually the community will come across. Because, like, I mean, I see myself as an ally. Like, I've put myself in situations where I interact deliberately with, people a part of this group, and just so that I could experience to be like, all right, let me see what you think. Like, why do you think that way? Like, to me...
No,
like,
I feel like everyone's an ally. Like I don't know. I just like John said. Like I got nothing wrong with it. Like yeah, be who you want to be. I got nothing against you. You want to live. Like you want to do this, do it. Like go for it. I just like you said, when it comes to the interactions, it gets confusing sometimes because a lot of the answers and terminology just hasn't been consistent. So that's why for me this discussion's been hard, because I don't know how I can converse without being insulting, because I just got questions.
Hey, I have a question. It was just LGBT for the longest, right?
LGBTQ. That's the way I always memorized it.
When
But
I
honestly, I
was
think
young,
the Q could just
LGBT.
summarize it all.
I remember LGBT. When did can we find out when the Q got added? Because the I and A did not go through the same waiting
there a
period that the
tracker?
Q went through. I think they fast tracked the I and the A and the plus. Officially adds Q to the. Okay.
This
What
was
what community or like what?
Like, who's in charge of this?
Yeah. What committee?
2016. I feel like
Oh,
this
big
happened a
line.
while. Like I feel like it's always. Well, I take that back. I feel like
I
it's
mean,
always been LGBT.
Culturally, but what does officially mean?
What's GLAAD?
Oh, they're I guess they're the major advocacy group for those type of things, and so they added the Q
But so what? No, I'm
in 2016.
no. What does queer even mean now? Now I'm confused.
Questioning.
Queer means awkward. Like the direct
Questioning.
term, it means awkward, and so you can actually use it. And there's a book I read where
You're right. Doesn't that cover everything else?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it covers
So
everything.
you can cover everything with queer.
That's why Dave Chappelle said queer guys at the car. And he's like, I'll fuck everybody in here. Okay.
There's a book I read where the guy goes off into the future, and when he comes back, like he travels through portals, and as he travels through the portals, every time he goes through it, he jumps like 20 years. So he like one in one way and one in the out direction. Like he's already jumped 40 years. So he does it so much that like the Earth changes every time he comes back to it. And at one point, everybody's gay, and he left when everybody was straight. And then the reason why everybody turned gay is because overpopulation was a huge problem, so they reprogrammed all of humanity. Like humanity itself decided we need to go gay so that we can not overpopulate the planet to kill it. And so when he comes back, everybody that he's with is gay, and they look at him like the weird guy, and so he calls himself old queer, and that's like the moniker that all the gay people have. But then later on, they do it some more, like they keep jumping through cycles, and then everybody turns into a clone, and they're all just like one dude, and then all the gay people that are with him are just like, yeah, this is fucking weird. So eventually, everyone starts to get to a limit of progression where it just gets too fucking weird for everybody. But
That's dope.
with this, that was kind of the thing where I was thinking about, and like I said, like I've put myself out there to try to meet people in the community to try to understand them, and I've I feel like I gotten pretty far, but at some point I also came to the conclusion that at some point I have to draw a line where I'm just like, yeah, I'm not gonna accept just keep throwing up letters, keep throwing up, making up like certain decisions where I'm just like, yeah, this is nonsensical after a point. Like it's redundant in some letters, and it it just garners more confusion than anything as opposed to understanding.
And it's hard to
So
navigate in confusion.
yeah, exactly. Um, so just kind of learning how to deal with the people without thinking of like the eggshells that I have to avoid and stuff like that makes it really difficult. And the other thing too is like making the majority accommodate you, I think is also a big issue. Like
Dude,
I
we've only recently
definitely
become accepting of this stuff. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say what, like early mid 2000s, or was it like when I say early mid 2000s, I mean like 2000 to 2005, or is
mm,
that too early?
I don't know, man, cuz to me I feel like there was like I never had an issue with it. So I never looked around and was like, "Oh, this is cool to do now." Like I've never kind of felt that. Um, the only thing that I've recently started to feel is just like, whoa, like we're making like everybody change, and this isn't like for like just basic human rights. Like no, like we're making everybody change for accommodation, like pure accommodation. Like you want me just to make you a nice dinner every night, like you know what I mean? This isn't like oh, like I'm you're only asking for food, like you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
that
they
at
asking
least
for a
that's how
lot.
I feel. Like with once it
Yeah, you're
gets to the
absolutely right.
like the later letters past like the transsexual and stuff like that, I'm just like, dude, at this point you're asking me to give more than what you just want respectively as just human rights. You're asking
Dude,
me
I
to
got
actually
lost
start to
after the
lower down to
Q.
you.
I had to look up every letter after T. Every letter after T I had to look up. That's
Yeah.
how confusing for
No,
me
I
it
knew.
got.
I got the cue. I got the cue. But I googled it earlier, so I don't know if that helps. But I actually just wanted to get a firm understanding of what each
I
meant.
think our firm understanding is just call everything queer and just leave it at that.
That's
And be
it.
like, you're queer. You make your decision, whatever you do behind closed doors, or however you want me to. You tell me how to talk to you. We'll go from there. But in my mind, queer.
But
That's
I'll
the
tell you
one word.
this. I'll
Simple.
I'll tell you
Yeah.
this, Doc. I had a history teacher named Mr. Kosis, and I used to do this thing on his test, and I aced his class. But I would do this funny thing when I didn't know the answer, where he would ask a question, and if it was a timed question, I would put before or after something. So if he was like, "Oh, when did this happen?" I'd be like, "Before the Civil War," which would technically be right, but it wasn't the technically the like what he was asking for. But he didn't word his question and say what year. He said, "When did this happen?" Like so before this. So he let me off with it sometimes. But I'll tell you what, towards the end of the year, I got all of it. He started counting all of them against me. So I tell you that to say this: we can umbrella it with queer all we like. They might not like that shit. They might let us get away with it sometimes, but other times
But that's
might
the
count
dude
against us.
that I feel like that's the worst way to kind of deal with it, man. Like, because at that point,
Everybody's
then
queer.
that's everyone's ego coming in, and like the it's like you said, the lawyering comes in, and it's like you
Hmm.
didn't say it the right way, you didn't do it this way, and this is
Exactly.
now you're
But
gonna
they
have
are
to be
lawyers
punished
now.
or X whatever, and it's just like, dude, really? Like,
They're the
what?
new vegans. They are the
So
new
it gets
vegans.
kind of dicey with extreme progression for that, and like just kind of the sprinkling like a topic for it too. Like I know like one of the terms I had recently fly around in my life was what was it? It was diversity target. And it was the first time I'd ever experienced somebody quantifying diversity. And it's like, dude, to me, it's the most bizarre thing to apply a metrics system to culture. Like, it seems almost
a
impossible
hundred
because
percent.
culture is just something you are. Like, you're cultured, you either are or you aren't. There's not like a 70% cultured outside of, fungi that you are this cultivated or whatever as a human being. And to apply a metric system to it, dude, it's terrifying. That turns into like some Minority Report type stuff to me, where it's just like extreme creepy sci-fi.
Shit, man, pretty.
And I don't think
No,
it's gonna
I
go that
no.
far. I just think that like introducing that systemic system of quantifying people's diversities and stuff like that makes
Would it
it
be wrong of me to equate it to some
ingenuine.
kind of level of eugenics?
Yeah, it kind of is, dude. Like because it makes it disingenuine, where it's just like you basically propagate tokenism. Where in my mind, and this is an extreme, so take it with a grain of salt. Where in my mind, it's just like, are you not meeting your diversity target? You're like, am I supposed to respond with, no, I'm short, one Asian guy and one black friend? Like, dude, like, because then you start tokenizing people like that.
I don't have enough black people, man. We only had made one Mexican guy per quota this
Yeah,
month, man. We only cycled out one Mexican guy. We got to pick up our Mexican quotas.
yeah, man. Our quota's low this month, man. We gotta make it up. I've
Our
never,
turnover rate for the Asian
yeah,
community is
like I'm not a
terrible.
collector of rare
What? You're
people.
only half
Like,
black? You're only half black? Where's the rest of you?
hell no, man. You can't be our friends. We need one
God
full.
damn it.
Like, we can't come up short. Like,
You're half
Now we
Mexican,
need
half Irish.
another-
You're not the right white, the wrong white.
Wait, did you say you were
say your
half
mom was
black,
white?
half Mexican?
what? Get the
Oh
fuck
my
outta here.
God, get in here. Half black, half Mexican, get in here. You fulfilling all types of quotas.
Yo, I got something
God
good for you.
damn.
Y'all ever seen a Samoan? Come on, like, what? Like, you can't get like that. That's just so disingenuous. Like, yes, go out, diversify yourself, explore the world, meet new people, but don't collect them. Don't.
Like Pokemon.
Yeah, man. Like, dude.
So here, one last point, and I feel like we should close it out. Is do you think this came from the travel culture?
Oh, I never thought of that.
Like a lot of our generation has actually seen the world. Not a lot of people were able to do that. That's an ambition that I feel like our parents had and never really got to do, and only aspired to do that when they were retired.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
Our
Yeah,
generation did that.
That shit changed me.
Like I don't know how young. Like even younger now, they
Yeah.
do it when they're in their teens now.
Yeah.
Like they travel and see the world.
Oh, I've been to Italy.
So-
Spain, goddamn. Boy.
Seeing the world, wouldn't that kind of make you want to reassess how you identify things? And obviously, the reason I say this is because identification on everything, I feel like, is getting out of hand. And I'm wondering, do you think that could be because of the travel culture? Seeing so much of the world, so many different people, like different
No.
cultures.
I think it's the opposite. I think it's the people who are pretending to be traveled. Because most people who have actually traveled, I don't believe,
Because it's
actually
lucrative to
believe-
make those travel posts. So yeah, people have been caught doing fake.
But most people that have actually traveled to other countries and taken in other cultures don't come to the conclusions that most progressive people come to. Like they don't think that way because most people come from third world countries. Most people come from countries where socialism was not the way. Like my Uber driver was Swedish the other day. Like
Well,
what
I'm not
saying?
talking about the political stuff. I'm talking about maybe just the representation.
No,
period.
but I'm saying. What do you mean by representation?
Like
I think what John's trying to say is that you learn that you can go live somewhere else and you don't have to kind of put up with.
Yeah, and I
Certain
think
situation.
the people who are screaming and yelling that you're talking about that's leading to that situation are people who actually haven't traveled and they're overcompensating by saying they know
Okay.
something. Like for example,
Mm.
when people are yelling or screaming about, "Oh, there are kids dying in Africa," but they've never been to the
Africa,
country.
yep.
They don't really know what's going on.
They've probably seen an ad
They've
where
probably
it's a-
seen the commercial.
yeah, the
You know what I'm
commercial.
saying? Like so, those are the people screaming. But like, there are people who've been to Africa, right? Like me, and seen really nice parts. And so it's like, okay, I know this is a problem that's going on somewhere, but now I have other context of the country or the how it is there. So now I'm not overreacting, or I'm not. They may be able to handle it on
Perspective.
their own perspective, exactly. So when you don't have any perspective, you automatically go to an extreme. And so like I feel like the people going to extremes actually don't have perspective, whereas well-traveled people have perspective of other people's cultures.
okay.
Why Andrew Schultz can get away with all of his jokes. he
He's
knows
actually
the
familiar-
countries
yeah,
he's talking
he's
about.
familiar with them. Very, yeah.
I could
That was
see
an
that
interesting-
for people that aren't well traveled, feeling traveled by being like what sort of
Internet learned.
Like, yeah, like being super hyper inclusive, or like just super hyper mitigative of how inclusive you are, can simulate someone who's traveled, but
It's
not
like
really
starting
the
a,
same.
it's like starting a sentence by saying, "I could never know what it's like to be a black person, but blank." Like that's what the hyper progressive people, not but like when they're trying to pander, like Black Lives Matter or the people who are helping them, like, oh, I could never know what it's like to be a
Well,
black
that one
person.
clip from the riots where girls were, I think, throwing stuff at this one place or trying to write on it, and a girl walks by and says, "What are y'all doing? That's not what we're about. Like, you're not helping the movement."
Hmm. That's saying that sentence before anything even helpful or whatever it is. It doesn't do anything for anybody. Thank you for saying that you don't know what it's like to be me. Okay.
I mean, I say it just so
Like-
that I can say what I really want to say.
So whatever you want to say, exactly.
Yeah, literally. No, I'm not lying with you. I'll
Yeah,
say it just
exactly.
because I know I want to say something, but I don't want to offend an entire race. I have an observation and I just kind of want to say it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I think that's enough fake news things. You made a lot of observations today. Make sure you follow our Twitter at Podcast FDT. Follow our YouTube
They
page.
gonna add a P for pontificate.
Follow our Twitter. This guy. Follow our Twitter at Podcast FTD. Follow our YouTube page, Fake Deep Thinking. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, share. See you next time on Fake Deep Thinking.
I think y'all will understand. That
Peace.
was a really good
Peace.
joke later on. Like that was a really good joke. Like I left y'all with a fucking gem.